Welcome to Slight Reliability, learning SRE one day at a time. I'm Stephen Townsend. Hello and welcome back to Slight Reliability. I'm Stephen Townsend and this is the show where we learn SRE one day at a time. Today I have an announcement. I am taking a new role as developer advocate for SRE at a company called SquaredUp. There's a little bit to unpack there. The first thing being, who are SquaredUp? SquaredUp is essentially an observability vendor. They've been in the market for around 10 years, primarily targeting Microsoft monitoring solutions, particularly integrating with SCOM. And they've recently released a brand new SaaS product, which is targeted more broadly. It essentially brings together the world of business intelligence and technical monitoring into one. There'll be plenty of time to talk more about that in the future. So they're a reasonably small company. They're entering the market with a brand new product. It's quite an exciting time, and that's where I'm working now. That's who SquaredUp are. The second thing is, what is a developer advocate? What does that mean? My best understanding of developer advocacy, or DevRel, developer relations, as it is also known, is that product companies have realized that engineers don't like being sold to. So instead, if an organization has engineers working for them who are promoting good ideas and helpful content within the realm of that product, then it implicitly promotes that product and improves the brand reputation of that organization. So that's what I think it's about. And I think of other people in similar roles out there, such as Andy Grabner, Liz Fong-Jones, Nicole Vanderhoven. I think of them as very successful developer advocates, and that is essentially the field that I'm attempting to work in now. So the new role essentially has three parts to it from the discussions I've had so far. The first is the Slight Reliability podcast, which now I will do as part of my daily work. So to me, that's very exciting. It means I no longer have to do this in the weekend. I get more time with my family. It also means more time and investment to improve the quality of the podcast, get more people on, make it more entertaining, make it more valuable, and to also supplement the podcast with more blog and written content as well. Now, although I work for a vendor, Slight Reliability will remain organization and tool agnostic. The purpose is to talk about observability in SRE and the nitty-gritty details of the day-to-day work that we do, right? So that's exciting. The second part of my role is working in a DevRel or developer advocate capacity for the SquaredUp product itself. And that is completely separate to the Slight Reliability podcast. In that capacity, I will be talking about and writing about and creating content about that product, engaging with customers, going to events and meeting potential customers, that kind of thing. The third part of it is I will also be working as an internal engineer at SquaredUp to help operate the SquaredUp product in some capacity. Exactly how that works, we'll find out soon. But that's also very exciting to me, a new product built with technology I don't necessarily know much about, something which will be growing in scale as time goes by. That's an exciting proposition, and if anything, it helps me keep my engineering skills up to date and gives me fuel and food to talk about in my podcast and in the other content that I put together. So it's a pretty big career change. I think, honestly, it is the perfect fit for my skills, for my interest. And out of all the SRE pillars, which Sebastian Feeds talked about, I think observability is the one that rings most closely to my skill set and to my interest, coming from that performance engineering background. So it makes a lot of sense for me to work for a company who's focused on observability. In saying that, I don't want to stop talking about the other aspects of SRE. I think they are equally as interesting. In fact, over the last year, I've really started to get interested in those ideas and challenges, much more than I would have ever thought possible before. One of the other parts of the challenge is that I am the only person in New Zealand or Australasia. Everyone else is either in Boston or London, a few in India as well, I think, but I'm definitely very isolated in a very different time zone. But that's part of the challenge, and I'm sure we'll figure it out. And something else I've been thinking about is the evolution of the sphere of influence that someone can have in their career. As a performance engineer, I would tend to have an impact on a particular team or maybe a particular project. So maybe a couple of teams at most. Then when I moved into an SRE enablement team, I was effectively having a sphere of influence that included multiple parts of an organization. Maybe at most in that role, I could impact one organization. But as a developer advocate, part of the excitement is that I can potentially add value to many organizations across the globe. And that's pretty exciting and a little bit scary, but something that I'm going to embrace. When I had graduates come into our performance engineering team, I had this particular graduate who was very bright, very capable of doing anything she wanted to do in the world of technology, but she didn't seem that passionate about it. And so I gave her some advice on her last day to follow the white rabbit, follow the thing which is exciting for her. And I guess I'm going to take my own advice here. This podcast, creating content and mixing it with engineering is my white rabbit, and I am going to follow it and see where it leads me, even if it is a little scary to take that leap into the unknown. So this is the end of an era in a way. This is the last podcast episode that I'll be producing in my own time, because today's actually my day off. Next time I'll be doing it as part of my job, which is very exciting. And that's all I really wanted to say today, just to make that announcement and let you know what's happening with the podcast. I do want to say a big thank you to my SRE team at IAG. You guys are awesome. You are literally the best team I ever worked with. So Stephen Gill, Louise Willen, Gwen Berry and Desh Gunatanga, you guys are awesome. And I wish you all the best for your SRE journeys, and I'm looking forward to staying in touch and hopefully having one or more of you on the show. So that's all from another episode of Slight Reliability. Thank you once again for tuning in. Looking very much forward to what happens in the months to come. And I will see you next time.